Should you buy a house in 2024 here in Los Angeles, or should you wait until interest rates start to come down? This is a question I hear all the time from a lot of my clients, and ultimately, you are the only person that can actually make that decision. I can help give you lots of information, both current and historical, about the Los Angeles housing market, but you have to be ready. And don't let anybody else push you into buying a house if you're just not ready. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what is happening in the Los Angeles real estate market for May of 2024, what's happening with interest rates, what's happening with inventory, whether or not things are going to come down, what most economists are predicting. It's really interesting seeing what economists are predicting and seeing what is actually happening in the field. For example, the other day, I called a listing agent. It was a really cute, really charming property in Highland Park, down the street from one of my listings that I just put on the market. Hey, if you're looking for a home in Highland Park, 5511 Stratford Road is a gorgeous property that I just listed, but I digress. Anyway, I called the agent about this other property because it's our direct competition. They had 30 offers and it went way above the asking price. 30 offers in an environment where interest rates are over 7%, which is just nuts. That just goes to show you that it really depends on where you're at, what kind of property that you are selling, and what kind of demand there is. Right now in Los Angeles for Highland Park, it is a very desirable area. And there are lots of people who want to live in this area, especially if you can find anything under $1 million, which that one went significantly above $1 million. But here's the thing. People are waiting on the sidelines because interest rates are still too high. And even with 7% interest rates, you get 30 offers on a property. That is happening right now here in Los Angeles. Let's talk about interest rates. So the Feds have not cut their interest rates in a long time, and their biggest pressure is not repeating what happened in the 1970s. Honestly, I think that the Feds have PTSD from what happened in the 1970s, where inflation rates were at 12%, so they aggressively cut them, and things went down really quickly. But the fundamentals of the economy were not stable enough, and then inflation went way even higher, into 14%. So I think what the Feds are trying to do is avoid that situation. If you look at this chart, you can see the inflation for the last 4 years, and it hit its peak at almost 8.9%. And then the Feds are trying to keep it below 2%. Right now, it has been hovering above 3% and is being so stubborn. And I'm really annoyed with inflation right now because that is the key marker that is keeping interest rates up and mortgage rates up. All right, let's talk about interest rates and what most economists are predicting moving forward, because that is what everyone wants. They want lower interest rates. And when is that going to happen? Well, if you look at my video from January of this year, most economists had predicted that by the end of this year, the interest rates were going to be about 5.9%. Well, that is a very different story now. Most economists are predicting that it's going to go down to about 6.4 to 6.5%. The average of all three is about 6.43%. We are not even going to break the 6 barrier until probably the end of 2025. And trust me, I know that so many of you want these interest rates to come back down so things are going to be more affordable. But here's something to consider. When you wait, you are giving up a lot of opportunity for appreciation. Let me show you what the California Association of Realtors stats for April of this year. We are right in the middle of May, so they haven't released that data yet. But from last year, look at this chart. The median sales price in Los Angeles was $1.24 million, and that was up 10.2%. 10% in a year where interest rates are at 7%. That is crazy. Typically, what would happen when interest rates go up so dramatically, so quickly, is that it would have a cooling effect on pricing. However, Los Angeles is a different beast. There's 10 million people here, and there's just not enough homes to satisfy all this demand. Hence, you see 30 offers on a property in Highland Park. Now, if you go back to this chart, the days on market is 17 days, and the sales price to list price ratio is 100%. Now, when I see this statistic, that to me is false, but it's an average. Remember, there are going to be properties that you will be able to negotiate some, and there's going to be a lot of properties that are going to sell for above their asking price. I just pulled up the stats for Silverlake, Los Angeles, which is a great community. I have a new listing that's going to be coming up in a couple months. If you're looking in the area, just comment down below. I'm happy to send you all that information. However, I looked at Silverlake statistics the other day. And out of 15 properties that sold in the last 30 days, 11 sold for above their asking price. So there is an incredible amount of demand. It just depends on the neighborhood. It just depends on the property. There are a lot of factors in here. So just keep that in mind when they say all of the homes have sold for 100% of their asking price with the California Association of Realtors. That doesn't necessarily reflect what is actually happening on the market, because some of them did not get their asking price. Now, I will say that we are still in a seller's market right now, so just keep that in mind. And when we're in a multiple offer situation, if you are a buyer looking to purchase a home right now in Los Angeles, if there's a multiple offer situation, the strategy is very, very different. If you are interested in buying a home right now, I have some strategies to help buyers get their offers accepted in multiple offer situation. Just comment down below, or you can schedule a time to chat with me directly. Going back to that chart from the California Association of Realtors, you will see on the top right-hand side, it says that the active listings are 2,357, which is an increase of 30.2%, which is awesome. That is the real reason why prices are still stubbornly high and prices are not coming down because of interest rate, because there are just not enough homes. But having a 30% increase of homes is really good news for buyers, because that means that there's more choices and there's potential for a softening of prices. But as of right now, that demand for housing has been pent up for so long because people have been waiting until interest rates come down, and they just have not. They're being so stubborn. So that demand is really pent up. There is going to be a flood of buyers when interest rates start getting down into the low sixes, even mid sixes, which actually happened at the beginning of the year. At 6.5% in January, my phone started blowing up. So it is really important that if you're trying to avoid some of that extra competition, start looking now, capitalize on some of that appreciation that you will have on your house for the next year. Let's talk about what most economists are predicting for home prices here in the Los Angeles area. Most are expecting that homes are going to appreciate between 3 and 4% this year. Now, let's do a little scenario where you buy a house now at a 7% interest rate. Let's say your mortgage payment is about $500 more than you would spend if you bought it at a 6.5% interest rate. So you bought a home for $900,000 and it is appreciated 3% at the end of the year. Roughly, it's worth $927,000. Now, you could wait to the end of the year where interest rates come down to 6.5%, and you would save $500 a month on your payment, which is not nothing. But you lost out on $27,000 of appreciation. So when do you come up ahead? That's one way to think about home appreciation. Again, I always tell clients that investing in real estate is a long-term thing. It is not something that you're going to get out of in a year or two. You have to have that mentality of at least 5 to 7 years. Now, situations happen, life happens, and you might have to sell before then. But typically, if you hold a home for at least 5 to 7 years, the home will have appreciated and you will have made some equity. So keep that in mind if you are buying a home here in the Los Angeles area. I work with buyers and sellers in the greater LA area. So if you were looking to buy a home or looking to sell a home and capitalize on some of this demand, please give me a call. My number is 213-268-6832. Make sure to like and subscribe if this was helpful for you. And if you want more information, you want to talk about your goals, just click on the link in my description. My name is Felipe Crook with EXP Realty, investing in your dreams.